Welcome to the Big Biz Show.
Taking care of business.
You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, and Greg. Now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
From the Loft 100 Studios in sunny Southern California. Welcome to the Big Biz Show. Hope everybody's having a great day. Thanks for being along for the ride with us here in wherever we are. I think we should start taping from now on, right? The second we get here. I think that's a better part of the show. Say hello to the DTC, buddy.
Yeah.
Darn it. Well, the reason that we are so musically inclined, look at Mary. I mean, look at Mary Joan Jett. Dude, that's what I was trying to get out, and I was thinking about it as I was saying it. You're thinking of Joni and Chachi? Oh, God. Yeah.
I dusted this off last night.
Well, do you know why? Because Mary and I hosted. Okay. We hosted a Battle of the Bands at the Belly Up Tavern.
Like air guitar?
No.
Oh, actual.
No, real bands.
Actual guitar. Actual bands. They were pretty good.
It was a battle of the interpretive dancers. Little kickball change, pot of beret. No, and the thing I miss Russ so much because I used to dish it off on Russ, and now I'm dishing it off on Mary.
I'm actually surprised that you show up. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to do this by myself. I know it.
You would think that, I started playing guitar as a little kid. Why? To get the girls. I'm not saving lives. I'm an entertainer, right? Because I want the attention. Of course. I don't want to be around people. It's like, when they ask me to MC, I hate the MC. Hey, everybody, having a good time. And Russ would love that, and you are fantastic at it. And I'm like,
it was really hard.
Hey, welcome to the belly up.
Because the band was sound checking as we were talking, so you couldn't hear, and nobody's paying attention.
And I'm just not that guy that can do the MC, move the story along guy.
Did you cast?
So we were at the Rock and Roll Club. So
sure. I slept in the jacket.
Mary put on her Blackheart's outfit.
So did you two have to cast votes, or you just MC'd?
No, we were. Then the next band is, and actually it was very interesting. There's a couple of bands. One was called Sonic
Nectar.
Sonic Nectar. Ooh. Then one's called the 80s Band.
Totally 80s.
Very creative.
Mm-hmm. Totally 80s.
By the way, they were big in the 80s, and now they are all big in their 80s.
Yeah, they're totally 60s, actually, is what they are.
So that raises a good question, though. Who did judge?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So they had somebody.
Music is subjective, right?
Well,
how do you judge?
Who to judge? Mary all the time.
How do you judge? Yeah, well,
24/7.
Right.
Oh,
I'm judging all the time. Yes, of course. That's a given. So there was. You want to really know?
Yeah.
There was a member from the venue, Belly Up.
Okay.
And they're connected.
A winner from the last one.
A winner from the last one, and then someone from the Chamber of Commerce, the local Chamber of Commerce, that was putting it on.
Okay.
So
to let you know how the event went last night, there was 5 bands, and they all voted, and at the end you found out who it was. So my question is, who won?
Because he left.
I left.
I got a text that he's like, you can do the winner.
I think the dog's out. I gotta go.
I'm like, there's one more band left.
I go, yeah.
So wait, he pulled a Houdini? He didn't even give the big goodbye? No big goodbye.
Irish accent.
At least
I'm seeing you guys.
At least you texted me.
Who won? Was it the Southern Rock?
Can you guess?
Southern Rock Band. The original band. 80s band?
80s all the way. They had the most fans there.
Oh, really?
B-52s?
No.
Yeah. They played Simple Minds. They played a Billy Idol.
Oh, so great.
They started off a little rough.
Started off rough, but they came around.
Yeah. And Distance is that lead singer woman's best friend. I'll just tell you that.
Yeah.
Back in the back, she looked like Susie and the Banshees.
Oh, okay.
Right? But in the front, she looked like a Czechoslovakian woman on the beach at age 95 walking her dog in Mike's new movie. Just my type. Phenomenal image. Big shout out to Nick Hexon from 311 who sent us an album.
What's up, Nick?
Oh, hey.
Right? Nick Hexon, the most handsome man in rock and roll. I consider him a friend. He doesn't know anything about me, but
better looking than the Ramones.
But we paid for an album.
Okay.
I like that album cover.
Better looking than the Ramones. All right, we have got a big old fun show coming your way here on the Big Biz Show. Keep it here, because we're coming back. You better be here with us. you're listening. It is the Big Biz Show. We are in Southern California inside the Loft 100 studios. Right there on that there camera, that is the DTC, the best in the biz. Of course, now on your camera, sitting right here, Stu Costa, Marybird Godwin, a.k.a. Pinky Tuscadero. Of course, our executive producer.
Leather Tuscadero.
Oh, Leather Tuscadero.
Yes.
Big Todoroff.
Oh, that was her little sister, wasn't it?
Sully. Yeah.
It wasn't Leather Tuscadero.
Pinky was Fonzie's girlfriend, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Don't forget it.
Right. And then
I get confused. Joan Jett, Pinky, Leather, and Chachi. All same person?
Joni and
Never in the room at the same time.
Roz Kelly was the girl who played Pinky Tuscadero. So hot.
Really?
So hot.
Yeah. A little dirty hot, though, huh?
Why can't I remember the difference between Pinky and Leather?
Well, I could tell you.
Why does this show digress
That
so quickly?
softball was this big.
You shut up.
that thing out of the park.
It is gone.
I'm zipping my. I'm not talking.
Did you mention so the most handsome man in rock and roll was Joey Ramone?
Joey Ramone. Oh, heartbreaker, that guy.
Who I am not. I'm not as judgy as some people are in the room. And I don't claim to be a big Selena Gomez fan or know a lot about her, although I think she seems mean. But I saw the Golden Globes the other day, and the rock and roll star she's with, and I think Joey is Tom Cruise next to this cat.
Benny Blanco.
Yeah,
He's amazing.
His name is what?
Benny Blanco.
Can we get a picture of that, Chris Castillo, our producer in there, and Jared.
He's not the. He knows that he's
a
not
poster
good-looking.
child for the European English dental plan, if I'm not mistaken.
He's extraordinarily talented. Let's just.
Is he
say
really?
that.
Can he eat corn through a picket fence? Because it looks like he can. If I'm not mistaken. No, I mean I don't know.
He's a music producer, and he's.
Oh, yes,
good.
okay.
Yes, he is.
And this is
How is he,
Selena.
how is he
Very
amazing?
successful.
Is he amazing because the way he is singer, producer?
No, he's a producer, and I couldn't tell you
There he
one
is.
thing he produces,
Yeah.
except for the fact that
Can we get a
he's
smiling picture of
featured-
him?
Oh my God.
He's featured on the TV show Dave, which is one of my favorite shows.
Okay.
With Dave Bird.
That's Selena Gomez's boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're married.
long
or
climb
they're
to the
getting,
middle.
Oh, they just got engaged.
It's a long climb to the middle, bro.
Oh my God.
I've been watching the show Only Murders in the Building.
Yes.
Have you seen this show?
Yes.
No, I know of it though.
Such a great show. Well, what's great about it is Martin Short, Selena Gomez, Steve Martin, and I have to say once again, Steve Martin Short, this amazing
Best.
belly laugh
Yeah.
all the time. It's almost like Martin Short's like Donald Trump. You know, Donald Trump says something. We're going to Russia. Yeah, Russia. We've never had a country go to. We're the big. No one's ever gone to Russia like we go to. Like it's always the second comment. Mm-hmm. And Martin Short does the same thing. Like he goes, "Can you get a haircut, please?" At least the lobes. You know, there's always the walk away comment from Martin Short.
Yeah.
That I appreciate. Hey, can you guess if I asked you? There it is, right there. And it's just so. I got
Clever.
sucked into this so much.
And they have a great guest cast.
Yeah. Well, no, Meryl Streep isn't the thing, and Sting isn't the thing. No. This is and it's an interesting sort of same sort of story plot every season, but still, it's great. And now that Yellowstone's gone and Succession is gone, and me and Mary went through a therapy when Succession ended. There's a couple shows that you can watch on TV though. They're binge-worthy. That is one of them.
Yeah.
Another one is Landman, which is by the same
Billy Bob?
by the same guy who did Yellowstone in 1823 and 1948 and 1647 or whatever the other ones are. And then the other one is Lioness. Have you seen this one?
No.
I'm hooked.
I'm not a Yellowstone fan, so I'm not.
Oh, did you not watch Yellowstone?
No.
I got sucked in I think
Taylor Sheridan.
But I'll tell you the one that I'm really liking now it is a Frederick Forsyth novel from 1972 called Day of the Jackal.
Oh, I've heard that's
They did do a
great.
movie, and it's with
Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
And it is a binge-worthy program.
I've heard that.
So anyway, the reason I bring that up is because Eddie Redmayne is an international continental assassin.
Sure.
Okay? And they show all these places. And it made me realize, what is the number one industry in the world? Could it be technology? Could it be oil and gas? What do you think it is?
Oh my God.
Here's a cocktail party trivia question for you, because you'll get it right.
Is
and nobody will know.
it entertainment?
It's tourism.
Tourism. Okay.
Tourism is the number one industry in the world. In fact, behind military.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's the biggest market driver. And what's interesting is half of all tourism employees in the world earn a middle-class salary or higher, but for every tourism job, 4 jobs are created in every single place. And this is why even places like San Diego, California, where we are broadcasting from, which is not, you don't think you'd have to compete for tourism dollars, but we spend money on tourism because it's such a market driver.
Yep.
And this is what the latest economists think is going to be the savior to the world economy, is people getting out and traveling again across the world. In every place from Europe to places like South America, to places like coming here to the US, but it's supposed to be the panacea to this inflationary time that we've seen post-COVID.
Well, that's interesting because the rates of, I travel a lot with my girls, the hotel rates and the flights are bananas. They are so expensive right now.
Yep.
And they are not going down. They're going in the opposite direction. So it's interesting to me that that's what we're looking for. How can people travel?
And there's 2 reasons.
They can afford it.
There's 2 reasons for that. One reason is the supply and demand. As you know, the closer it is to Christmas, the harder it is to get a flight, right? At the same time, because that same supply and demand, if a plane's empty, if you buy a ticket the last day, sometimes you'll get a great deal on it. The other is this thing called JP1A. And JP1A is jet fuel. That's what jets fly with. It's called JP1A. JP1A is priced 6 months ahead of time. It's called oil futures, right? So if you think in terms of where oil prices are going right now, they're actually going in the right direction. But 6 months ago, they were not. And that is one of the reasons that you're paying more for airline flights and such. The other thing is that there's more and more airlines that are publicly traded companies. And what is the job of a publicly traded company? To bring shareholder value. Shareholder value means that's why you're paying $5 for your box of crackers, hard cheese, and never enough peanut butter for your 1 cracker that you get. And you have to beg for a biscotti and a cup of coffee. When I could just let me have 17 of them and just throw them in the coffee, and I'll eat it with a spoon like it's freaking oatmeal.
Porridge.
Speaking of flying, so are you so I know that you fly up in the leathers. I know that your wife has decided that you scrimp on other things in life. You don't go to dinner as many times as you would in order so you can fly.
Yep. First class.
Does anything bother anybody more than when you're trying to board first class? You know what I'm talking. You know where I'm going with this. First of all, it's the kids with the people with the children. Then it's the people that have, that need it. So that's fine, that's a little system.
Yeah.
And then it's the military. I'm like, really? Did you see duty? Did you see active? Like, after a while, like, bro, did you? I mean, it's like, it's 17 minutes later. Does that bother anybody else but me when you're trying to board?
Fly first class.
You can get a sedan chair and carry the military onto the plane because I love them so much.
I do too. However,
I have no problem doing that.
I'm not plugging military.
It's the mom, the dad, the baby seat, the tuck and go playpen, the stroller, all that, the nursing bag. It's like, you know what? You go on last. I'm sorry. I didn't tell you to have
That was
kids.
you at one point, though, when you were trying to travel with your son.
Yeah, but we were so much better at it.
Well, first of all,
other families.
I have so many points that I get to fly first class. I rarely pay first up because I've been saving up points almost my entire life.
Yeah.
Because it is a free way to fly first class.
Yeah.
And if you think about, I even get credit cards based upon if I'm going to get airline points on United.
We have so many points saved up, I can have people removed from the plane.
That's right.
That's how much power I have.
Kind of a big deal.
That's right.
Southwest is going to reserved seating now. They're
I
going
like that.
away from their. That's probably the shareholders.
Do you know why that's good? Because I remember the time when we did travel with kids and we were flying with Southwest when I was married. I would 24 hours ahead of time you could check in, and I would be like, okay, it's 23,
Yes,
58,
I do that.
59, and then I got A1, 2, 3, and 4.
Like a game.
Now you have to pay for A through 15.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
A1 through 15.
The point is, were you ever a guy that if you were A5 and A6 was in front of you, it's like, excuse me?
I absolutely am.
Really?
100%.
Really?
I'm like, excuse me. What number are you?
Yeah.
I need because it's stressful.
Mary's got
Boarding the plane is
so you know they have it on your phone now. Like Mary's like,
I will sometimes pay the extra to get in the high. I hate boarding the plane. It's stressful because of people like you that are mad at the people boarding.
I'm not mad.
I hot flash if I'm taking too much time.
Listen, first of all, let me just look.
You realize it's people like you that make it stressful for the rest of us, right? But you're going to say it's stressful.
I don't want to stress other people out.
She just said, I hot flash.
It is. It's true. I'm sweating. I'm just like, I don't want to take too much time. So
I get anxiety. The reason I get anxiety, and by the way, God bless our military men and women. I'm giving you a hard time. It's the people that you clearly don't need special assistance.
Yeah.
I'll give you a backpack too with snacks that are too heavy. I get anxiety because if I'm sitting where I'm sitting, I should be able to put my bag near my seat.
Oh,
and you got people sitting in row 58 and going,
yep.
Well, you know where that's going? Oh,
nah.
I forgot. I think I heard something ticking, ma'am.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
I check my bag now because I can't handle the stress of putting it up.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Mary and her.
You want to know how much of my stress is?
Camera crew with Devin and following Mary onto a plane to do an airport.
Mary and her
my coffee
emotional support emu trying to make it down.
Mary projecting Woody Allen or James Brooks or Albert Brooks worrying so much when he gets on a plane. So it's anxiety ridden, huh?
The Loft 100 Studios in Southern California. Big Biz Show rolling on. Hope everyone's having a great day wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening. Thank you for being here with us. I am Costa. She is Mary. Easy Rider, Bert Godwin.
Well, there's a reason.
Our executive producer, Greg Todoroff, and of course, Sully.
It was from the gig last night, like I said before. Good to see you. Hey, Steve Brady, I want to get to Steve because he's got very little time, but he is at the JP Morgan Biotech Conference that happens in NorCal every single year, and he's joining us. I think he just stumbled out of a lunch meeting here on the street. But Steve, great to see you, man. How are you? What's going? Look at him, boy. You look very cosmopolitan. My friend. Look at that.
Wow. Hey guys. Greetings from Union Square in San Francisco. And beautiful. Yeah, as Sully said, the JP Morgan conference, which kicks off the year for us. And no, Sully, no lunch. We eat on the fly.
Listen, I know from talking to Steve during these conferences and some of our other guests, these guys are nonstop.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can you explain why that conference is so important and what you guys do there?
Yeah, so all the big investment banks, they may do this for tech too, but they all have these annual conferences, and JP Morgan's is the first of the year. And the interesting thing is people don't come here to go to the conference. I think most people don't even have one of these badges to get into the conference. It's just become this massive ecosystem of biotech and big pharma investors, any kind of service provider. They descend on the city and take over. And there are meetings in all of these buildings around the conference and in the Union Square. It's a florid environment.
Is it one of those things where almost like an investment conference where you've got people pitching, then you've got people catching, you've got people investors and everything else, or is it mainly a science-based, or is it everything?
No, this is actually not really science-based. We go to those meetings like you talked to people at ASCO before. I mean, obviously Tempest is an oncology company. That's one of the most important meetings in the world for us every year. This is not as much science, but people are literally doing every part of the biotech and pharma ecosystem here. Very senior people are here. You run into them on the street, and it's a great way to connect with people and speak to people. I live in the Bay Area, and we actually sleep in the city.
No kidding.
Even locals have to, we get hotel rooms because you can't really make it work from home.
By the way, point of fact, when you live in the Bay Area, don't call it Frisco, okay?
No.
And the city
Never.
is down, and don't call it downtown.
No.
I'm going to the city, which means downtown.
You're going to the city, and it has never and never will be Frisco. Thank you for saying.
Never will.
All right.
Hey, Steve, good to see you. Happy New Year.
Good to see you too. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Can you catch us up on how things are going with your lead drug? I think it's TPST 1120.
Yeah, now a Mazalpat. We have a name which we love because we do think this molecule is amazing. So we had some big data last year. And where we had what's called overall survival data, which in liver cancer is the most important metric worldwide to get your drug approved. And then what changed towards the end of the year for us, and then we roll into kicking off 2025, is we have agreement with the FDA and the EMA on our whole pivotal regulatory plan to get this drug approved. So we're packed. This JP Morgan we're talking to people. Obviously, you're always talking to investors as a public company, but now we have unsolicited inbounds from analysts at other banks who don't cover us because, I think that there's very few people walking around with positive randomized phase 2 data in a really high unmet need indication like first-line liver cancer. So there's a lot of interest in Tempest and the Amazopet program. So I'm glad I still have my voice because it started to go yesterday.
Steve Brady, the CEO of Tempest Therapeutics, ticker symbol TPSD. Steve, by the way, the weather looks really great there in downtown Frisco.
Wow, he just hung up.
Yeah, I think I have a connection problem. Sorry.
That's like saying San Luis Obispo.
Really, with to that point, with as great as things have been for you and the team in the last year or so, are you at the stage now where you've got to be really, really diligent and strategic about who you give your time to at a conference like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we're singularly focused on getting these in all seriousness. I mean, we're a cancer company, right? We're dealing with people's lives and trying to improve and lengthen people's lives, especially right now in liver cancer. So, Mike, absolutely. We're really careful about who we talk to because, we have a dual mission inside this company, right? It's to get the right drugs approved that extend life and give a return to our investors. And those two are not mutually exclusive. So you got to talk to the right potential partners and the right investors who understand how big this could be and how important it is.
I want to talk about real quickly your next press release, which I know it's going to be because Tempest Therapeutics is the lead feature in the new Bizumentary out regarding liver cancer here on BizTV and Bloomberg, and airing in 125 million TV homes, 175 countries, and all the ships at sea, and a couple times a week here for the next. And it's actually, Steve, that Bizumentary that we did together is pretty remarkable because it's a tearjerker a little bit, but it's also gives people hope, I think, as you have seen. So I think I want to point people, and you can check your local listings on that. But you did a great job, man. And it's about, as a whole, how we're doing on this thing. But the press release I want to talk about also is this orphan drug designation from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. What does that mean? What does an orphan drug designation mean?
Yeah, so the FDA has a few great programs that they put in place, one of which is orphan drug designation, where if, in this case, where you have a cancer that is under a certain threshold of people in the United States, you get some extra benefits. And you have to, you put in an application, you show data, you show them that you think you have something real, and they get it. And then they say, we agree with you, and we're going to help you as you go into your pivotal study and you try to get this drug approved. And one day, fingers crossed, you're submitting your NDA. There's a process by which you get additional benefits by getting orphan drug. Now, the interesting thing about liver cancer is it's an orphan indication in the U.S., but it's not outside of it, right? In the U.S., you're looking at around 15,000 patients treated in first-line liver. In China, it's 80,000 people, right? So it's a massive indication globally. But we're very pleased to get it because it's gonna help facilitate us getting this drug to patients if the phase 3 is successful.
Hey, Steve, before I let you out of here, Steve Brady, of course, Tempest Therapeutics, TPST. TPST is their ticker symbol. What do you got for the rest of the day and for the rest of the conference? What do you hope to accomplish up there, bud?
We're going to trek up the hill. We have a slew of meetings all day, and then we always go into the evenings. There's always business-related dinners and receptions, and they're long days, but it's worth it.
Good
right?
stuff.
Because this is the way you help lubricate the machine.
Buddy, thanks so much. I appreciate everything you do. We'll see you down here in San Diego very soon. Bud.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Happy New Year.
Bye, Steve.
I think we need to go there next year and do a big biz show to go. Over there at downtown Frisco.
Downtown for sure. Frisco. It looked like the ice rink was still up behind him, so do a little ice skating, do a little stuff. That type of little big biz.
Yeah.
You ice
real
skate,
quickly.
Mike?
Yeah.
On the weather there, real quickly.
Yes.
You see how crisp and clear it is here? Now, San Francisco doesn't get snow, okay?
Right.
And neither does San Diego, nor does LA. But in the last 3 days, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and LA have had record lows in the morning hours.
Oh, yeah.
To where, and I talked to Steve this morning, it was 29 degrees at downtown Frisco, buddy. It was 32 this morning in Rancho Santa Fe in San Diego Del Mar.
I was just telling these two before the show.
stuff.
56 degrees in our house this morning when I got up walking across the floor in my BVDs. Crazy cold. Keep it right here. Much more with the Big Biz Show after this. Come on, that was funny. Do they even still make DVDs?
What does it stand for?
Yeah.
That's the big question.
In over 175 countries and all the ships at sea on the American Forces Network. As always, to our brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces, thank you for what you have done. Thank you for what you are doing for us. Inside the Loft 100 studios, Big B Show rolls on. Costa Merritt Godwin. Our executive producers, Greg Todorov, and of course, Sully.
Let's not forget the Day Trader Trio, including Brian Jordan and James East and Trace Sojourn Hodgins. Want to get a little bit of love there, Trace?
Can I get some love? All right. Transmit through the microphone mesh. Nothing less than fresh. Representative of the West. On the Big Biz Show with Sojourn and a rockin' the front freestyle flow. Sometimes I hit it with the 2 times. The end of the rhyme. It's like.
Did you call it last week freelancing?
I was freelancing.
That is good as it gets, right there.
That's
That
what
would
they
be
need, Mary.
freestyling, but-
At the, as you're going down the jetway, as you're heading down the jetway, and you know that little area, that little ditch off to the right hand side if your bag's too
Park
big?
your cart.
They need a little they need a little trio there. It's just easy, like little ease music for you to calm your way in there.
Relax, yes.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
they have in LAX, Atlanta, Texas, New York, probably 4 other cities. I think it's called PS Lounge, called Private Suite, that you can pay for. It's $750 if you want to just hang in the bar, but what it'll do is it's across the tarmac. So here's let's say here's LAX and here's the private suite across the tarmac. You go in there for $750. You can have a cocktail at lunch. They will check you in. They will take you in a car across the tarmac, and you get to walk right up to him.
No way.
That. And for a thrifty $5,000, you can have a private suite that you can hang out and watch TV and wait for your. I think they have that. I think they have TVs in the airport, right? It's $5,000 less.
You also have something called your phone. Most people just have.
Kidding.
You can watch a show right here.
Great
Yeah.
answer.
Alon Goren is a founding partner of Draper Goren Blockchain, good friend of the program for many, many years. DGB.VC is their website, and they're your partners for a decentralized future. It sounds like the beginning of the USSR to you, Mike, but it's not. It's really going to get us into the next world in terms of how we're going to conduct business. Hey, Alon, I got a question for you regarding blockchain. Great to have you again. Thanks for being so flexible this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So can I ask you, in between you landing planes there with your headset on, can I ask you, is blockchain going to change, like I think it's going to change, let's say real estate transactions, where there's no, I'm not suggesting there's not need for an escrow company or services, but can I just buy Mary's house now because it's there? And I think brokers are in trouble in terms of in stocks as well.
The rules have been changing for real estate agents, and the reason they've been changing is not because all of a sudden some brand new thing fell out of the sky and people are deciding to change it. Is because there was some crazy corruption and issues, and people don't believe that the fees that they were paying agents until now were really fair. Right. And so it's changing because technology changed and changed the dynamic. And now most of us find the homes and places we want to buy before an agent calls us up and tells us. We call the agent and say, I found this place on Zillow or Redfin. Can you open the door for me? And so it's a different dynamic. In the same way that those types of companies changed the way we found real estate, new types of companies and this kind of technology will change the way we buy it. I'm heavily in agreement with you that I should be able to buy a house from Mary. Maybe there is escrow. There are these things, but they're programmatic. They're technology. You don't need to pay humans a lot of money to do these things. They're just, and we don't have to pay lawyers a ton of money to do these things. We should be able to just do them. And that's what's changing.
So how does this change, for example, stockbroker transactions in terms of purchasing stock or purchasing bonds or mutual funds, whereby you can certainly do it on your own now, but there is a middleman still involved and there's a commission involved. Yeah. And I got to believe that's got to be front and center, considering, let's say, blockchain and decentralization has a lot to do with currency and a lot to do with transactions. That's a big one, isn't it?
I think that what will change more obviously to us is how we do those real estate or those smaller, what they're called private equity deals, using this technology will be more obvious to the average person if you want to invest in a building or something like that versus investing in a stock on Robinhood. When we invest in a stock on Robinhood, we're using some clearinghouse. We don't know what clearinghouse, we don't give a crap, right? What we know is that Robinhood uses some kind of API, some kind of technology to offer us stock on New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, the London Stock Exchange, whatever stock exchange we want to buy something from, we log into Robinhood. The same way you log into a Schwab account or a Fidelity account. What's going to change in the future is that it's going to be more transparent. It should be faster. It should be easier and cheaper to do those types of things. And that's what's going to be exciting. But I think the bigger gap to make it easier will happen when it comes to real estate, when it comes to the things that are currently considered private, where you don't necessarily need to have a person to help you with it. You'll just log into a website, you'll log into your Robinhood account and go, ooh, there's a building on the corner that I go to the Starbucks every single morning to, and I could buy a piece of that building because it's in this real estate portfolio, and this is how much it's worth, and this is how much it's valued at, and this is how much rent is coming in every month. All of that data, once it's digitized, should be really easy for us to decide on what we want to do with. And that'll make every opportunity easier to get into and hopefully more lucrative for the average person.
Alon Goren, founding partner, Draper Goren Blockchain. Their website is dgb.vc. Alon, we're going to have a new administration here in less than a week. How blockchain, crypto friendly are President Trump and his group going to be? Or do you know, or you think they'll be?
They say they're going to be very friendly. The fact that they're saying it is a good thing compared to the previous administration where they kind of kept the distance from it, and the people that they put in charge, like Gary Gensler, who's running the SEC, was not pro-crypto, right? They're very obviously not supportive of this new industry. This administration says they're supportive, but here's the good thing. There's a great website called Stand with Crypto, and it's an initiative that's run by Coinbase and a bunch of others. It's a nonprofit. And you could go there and you could see which politicians are pro, are neutral, or negative when it comes to crypto. And in the last election, it was across the board. More of the politicians were pro-crypto, or some were neutral, and a small percentage were negative crypto. So I believed that no matter who went into power, Congress and Senate were going to be more pro-crypto, and that's going to be good for the industry. The rest, is lick your finger and go like this and make your best guess, because what politicians say out loud and what ends up happening, very, very different things. So I do believe, though, as an industry, it's inevitable, right? And will Dogecoin be more regulated or less regulated? That doesn't really matter to the average person. What matters is your real estate transaction going to be easier to deal with? Are you going to trust the system more than you do today? And I think you will.
Hey, Alon, good to see you. Happy New Year. I know I've talked to you and interviewed you many times, but can you break down what Draper Goren Blockchain actually does again one time for me in the back?
Yeah, we are really early stage entrepreneurs ourselves. And so what we do when we created this, what we call a venture studio and fund, what we do is we find really, really early stage entrepreneurs, people who are like us, who are trying to solve these problems that we're talking about. We've actually invested in multiple companies trying to revolutionize the way we do real estate. And what we do is we help them out the earliest stage. So sometimes we're the first check into the bank account for these companies. And then we go along for the ride and we help that company grow and expand, and we invest in them along the way and write larger checks as the companies grow. So for us, it's all about finding the entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur or you know someone who's starting a company, particularly in the blockchain space, please send them our way. Okay. Send them to dgb.vc. We want to meet them first.
Hey, Alon, when you write a check, as you mentioned, are you writing a check based on U.S. currency? Are you giving them digital currency? And if you're giving them a check based on U.S. currency, does that mean you bought digital currency in the past, made money, sold it, and then took that? I mean, how does that, what are the mechanics of that?
Well, what I like to say is we spend our dollars, we hold our crypto.
Okay, there you go. That makes sense.
And I'm a big fan of anyone who does play around in the space. I tell people over and over again, when you make money trading crypto and playing those silly games, because some of them are silly games, make sure you keep a savings account in Bitcoin and Ethereum so that you can hold for the long term. But when it comes to investing in companies, we invest dollars in these companies. And a part of it is because of what I just said. And also a big part of it is that there aren't clear rules and laws, speaking of regulation, that say what we can and can't do with our crypto. So right now, if I spend my crypto, most people would agree that the second I spend my crypto, I have to calculate how much it's worth in US dollars and pay taxes on that. So if I invest a Bitcoin in your company, that means I've invested around $100,000. That means I have to pay taxes as if I sold $100,000 worth of something and then I invested. So then I'd be taxed again. So why would I put myself in that position? I'll hold the Bitcoin forever and I'll invest my dollars.
Alon Goren, founding partner, Draper Goren Blockchain. It is the Big Biz Show. Wherever you are watching, wherever you're listening, always, we appreciate you being along for this crazy ride. Hope everyone's having a good day. We certainly are inside the Loft 100 studios. Costa's sitting here at the bar. To my right is Marybird Godwin. Our executive producer, Greg Todorov. The man right there is Sully.
Did you see our new 311 album that my pal Nick Hexum gave me?
Yep. Fits perfectly.
Yeah, he was at my Christmas party. And
was he?
Yeah, you were there and you guys didn't meet him? Did you not meet him? He was in the same room as you.
I fell into the vineyard like at 8 o'clock, so then I woke up the next day going, what the hell?
What's crazy is I don't even have a vineyard, so I didn't even know where the hell you were the whole time. Great to see you. Eric Dresselhuys is the CEO of S Incorporated, stock symbol GWH. And every time I think about long duration energy storage, I think about environment. And of course, here in the West Coast, we've seen an area that was decimated by fires, which clearly have to do with the environment at some point and at some range, as well as energy. I think about Eric. Eric joins us once again. Hey, Eric, I got to ask you, first of all, great to see you again. But number two, if you think in terms of the new administration and then all of a sudden the need for power right this second, is this a new category for you? And are you optimistic about what's happening going forward? Because it seems like both sides are coming together on this sort of the need for different types of energy, especially right now.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely optimistic, Sully, and Happy New Year to everybody.
You too.
I think, listen, what's happening in Southern California is, it's heartbreaking. And certainly there's going to be a rebuild that has to happen there. But I think if you look at more broadly, we're a week out from the new administration coming in, and they've set an agenda that's pretty clear around domestic, provisioning of our energy needs. And we know that there's a huge amount of demand growth happening, driven by things like AI and crypto, and the president-elect seems to be, very aggressively wanting to support those things. So we've got some real challenges to solve in terms of how we're going to come up with the energy to meet all of those needs.
Yeah, and you see things, and of course, it's ready, shoot, aim oftentimes when we think in terms of how these type of disasters, this is what we're doing now. You've been kind of straightforward the whole time, though. You guys are staying the course, and in terms of strategic goals for energy transition, you've kind of stayed the course the entire time I've ever spoken to you. Anything change now at all?
No, not really. It's just, I think it's, if you live long enough, you see it all come back. Yeah. And I think, the principles upon which ESS was formed are, pretty straightforward. Build stuff that is domestically manufacturable with, earth abundant materials. And create the stability, reliability, resiliency to the grid that we need, because electricity is at the heart of everything we do as a society and as an economy. So if you want to grow, you got to have the juice to pull it off.
I think what's interesting here is where you and I were talking about long-term energy storage a year and a half ago, where it was going to be in 10 years. I think we've advanced 7 of those 10 years in the last 1 year, don't you think?
Well, it's certainly, the growth in electricity demand is what's really kind of underpinning the whole thing, right? So, people get out their crystal balls and try to predict how much electricity demand is going to grow. And it's been, pretty slow growth over the last 10 years. If you look at what's being projected now, it's, I think it's really forcing people to rethink the model and say, how are we going to meet those needs?
Eric Dresselhuys, CEO of ESS Incorporated, the ticker symbol GWH. Eric, and I don't know if you'd have an exact number, you can ballpark it, but because of the fact that we're really not up to speed as far as long-term energy storage is concerned, is it incredibly wasteful what we just let go by the wayside here in the United States?
Yeah, no, it is. And, you look at California just as an example. Last year, I think they'll update the numbers for 24 soon, but it's going to be somewhere north of 2.5 terawatt hours of electricity that just gets kind of dumped, what we call curtailed, which is a word for grounding electricity. And then we turn around and crank up a bunch of additional generation facilities, mostly natural gas, to meet the need. So if we just harness the stuff we're already making, the productivity we can get out of that has a marginal cost of near zero is pretty incredible.
Jeez. I think what's interesting here too is it seems as though if there's a silver lining around these fires, it's that every time something like this happened, it highlights, but it's almost as if it's not a knee jerk this time, Eric. It's that you guys are now have an on-ramp to this like you probably never have before. Am I just seeing that as an open air indicator, or are you seeing that in terms of how your business is progressing in terms of clientele and so on and so forth?
No, I think we're starting to see it. Listen, the problem with infrastructure is that, you very quickly realize the things today that you should have done 5 years ago, right? And that's true of the grid, it's true of highways. By the time the problem becomes acute, you look back and say, geez, how did I not adjust to that before? So people are scrambling now to figure out how to build plans that build out this infrastructure to meet the needs we have and do it in a way that's safe, reliable, and based on the incoming administration, increasingly, how do we do it domestically? Right? How do we not buy all of the stuff from China?
Right. Hey, Eric, top 3 takeaways for our viewers and listeners across the world and across the country on next steps for you here for 2025 as a public company.
Well, it's really about, scaling up, and to do this at bigger volumes. We've done a lot. We had a great year last year of driving costs out of the system, building our domestic manufacturing capabilities. So we've announced, expansions of our facilities here in Oregon, where we build all of our products. That's mostly going to a domestic market, but we have a fair amount of international clientele as well. So we're excited to see that continue to ramp up. Everything you're seeing here in the U.S. is happening all over the world. We're not unique in that way. And I think the other thing that we're going to see is that the shift in that the new administration's put on this is really going to be focused on what people think of as all of the above category. Like, how do we do a lot of stuff all at once and not try to be so picky about one thing versus the next because the need's so big. So we're plugging into that in terms of, resiliency, reliability at both a local level and starting to think about how this kind of scales at a national level.
He is Eric Dresselhuys, the CEO of ESS Incorporated. Of course, their ticker symbol is GWH. Eric, always appreciate the visit. Can't wait to have you back on, man. Have a great week. Thanks, Eric.
You take, guys.
And that is going to do it for us here inside the Loft 100 studio. For the DTC, the whole crew, me, Maribyrd Godwin, Greg Todorov, and last but not least, Sully.
Hey.
Thanks for being along for the ride. We'll see you next time right here on The Big Biz Show.